Thank you for joining us at this time. You're watching News Analysis live on Politics and Business TV. The top stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima attributes insecurity and banditry in the north to corrupt governance. Minister of Works David Umahi urges Nigerians to be responsible in the use of public infrastructure. Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State approves appointment of special advisors. Details coming up shortly. Welcome back. I am Omoife Peace Osemere. Vice President Kashim Shettima has attributed the crisis of insecurity and banditry in the north to corrupt governance. Shettima spoke as the Southern Kaduna Christian Leaders Association CAN commended the Nigerian Army for its peace-building efforts in Southern Kaduna, but called on the Army to do more to guarantee a more secure society in the area. Now, this is as the Pan-Yoruba socio-cultural and political organization, Afenefere, expressed concern over the upsurge of kidnapping and other violent crimes in the southwest and other parts of the country. Afenefere had called on President Bola Tinubu to urgently convene stakeholders meeting to tackle the menace. The vice president, who made the declaration at the 10th annual Sir Ahmadu Bello Foundation lecture and award hosted by Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum in Maiduguri on Saturday, said the Sadona had left a legacy of accountability, fairness and probity which the current leaders had defied. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP has alleged that 36 state governors and ministers of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, diverted 40 trillion naira meant for local governments since 1999. SERAP urged the governors and the current minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nyesom Wike, to disclose details of federal allocations meant for government since the return of democracy. SERAP also appealed to them to promptly invite the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to investigate the actual disbursement and spending of federal allocations meant for local government across state and the FCT since May 1999. In a Freedom of Information request dated January 27, 2024, and signed by its Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, SERAP argued that Nigerians have the right to know the details of actual disbursement and spending of federal allocations in each state and the FCT. Now let's talk other matters where the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has said President Bola Tinubu is having sleepless nights as a result of the bad state of the economy he inherited from his predecessor. He said Nigerians must therefore be responsible in the use of public infrastructure that the government was struggling to put in place. Umahi spoke at the weekend in Aba, Abia State, while inspecting the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. He fumed at the activities of street traders on the completed section of the road in Abia State, noting that he would advise Governor Alex Otti to set up a task force to arrest and prosecute street traders. And now in Rivers State, where the Governor Siminalayi Fubara has approved the appointment of former factional Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Ehie Edison, as his Chief of Staff. In a letter signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Tammy Denagogo, titled Government Special Announcement, Fubara also approved the appointment of 5 special advisors. Edison led 4 other members of the House when Fubara presented the state's 2024 appropriation bill at the Government House in December last year. Right, you're watching News Analysis live on Politics and Business TV. Still to come, military regimes in Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger withdraws from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Details of this and more after the break. Do join us again. Welcome back. You're watching News Analysis live on Politics and Business TV. Now, the Chief of Financial Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Umar Ajia, has said NNPCL remitted literally zero funds to the Federation account in 2022 due to the payment of subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol. NNPCL is a major revenue-generating agency in Nigeria, operating as the national oil company in charge of the management and sales of the country's crude oil and gas, among other key functions. Ajia, in a video released by the oil major yesterday, said a fuel subsidy stopped the revenue-generating firm from remitting taxes and royalties to the Federation account, as well as halted the company from making profit. Also, NNPCL said the lingering constraint of fuel subsidy payment hampered its growth potential until a new administration emerged, which brought an end to the subsidy regime and further saved the company from bankruptcy and setting it on a path of financial prosperity. In response to the continued fall of the Naira against the United States dollar, manufacturers have predicted fresh hikes in the prices of commodities in the market. The Naira reportedly plunged to 1,420 Naira to the dollar at the parallel window of the foreign exchange market last week Friday. The president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Francis Meshioye, told the National Daily that the Naira, which has now remained at over 1,400 Naira in the parallel market for 2 days, would lead to price hike in the economy. Meshioye predicted that these price hikes were unlikely to resonate well with consumers whose spending power has been continuously depleted. According to him, the frequent fluctuations in the forex market have made it difficult for manufacturers to make long-term plans. The military regimes in Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger have announced their immediate withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States. ECOWAS said it had become a threat to member states. The ECOWAS Commission, however, said the community is ready for a negotiated solution with the three countries. But the presidency, in its immediate reaction yesterday, said the three countries were technically not members of ECOWAS since they were on suspension. Leaders of the three Sahel nations issued a statement saying it was a sovereign decision to leave the ECOWAS without delay. Now let's talk other matters. A Nigerian term, japa, refers to the growing trend of individuals, particularly young people, leaving the country to seek better opportunities and improved living conditions abroad. According to research, the japa syndrome, which gained momentum in the early 21st century, was fueled by the rise of social media and access to information about life in other countries. The phenomenon has become increasingly prevalent due to the perceived lack of opportunities, unstable economy, political uncertainty, security challenges, and inadequate infrastructure within Nigeria. With Nigeria's unemployment rate at a new record high of 33.3%, the mass exodus known as the japa phenomenon is reported to be in full swing. It was gathered last week that the rush by Nigerians to leave the country for greener pasture reached its crescendo in the new year, as 32,462 persons have so far applied for international passport and also uploaded their documents from the Nigeria Immigration Service site between January 8 and January 21st, 2024. However, President Bola Tinubu has assured Nigerians not to be bothered about the mass exodus of skilled workers from the country, stressing that the federal government, in collaboration with subnationals, will train more persons to fill the professional gap now conspicuous in health, tech, and other sectors. Joining us to discuss this is an economist and lead researcher at Politics&BusinessTV.English, Adefolarin Olamilekon. Good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, and a very good afternoon to everyone out there.
Now, let's analyze the japa syndrome and its socio-economic impact. I mean, this is the year 2024, and just like you heard me, it was gathered last week that now we have at least 32,462 persons who have so far applied for international passport and also uploaded a document from the Nigeria Immigration Service site between January 8 and January 21st this year. Let's start with this figure. What does that tell you?
It's quite very bogus in the sense that it shows that people are really interested in traveling out of the country because of the challenges that we have faced. But I could also tell you that the number could be more than that, because these ones that I've just seen are the ones that have uploaded information. What about the ones that are already uploaded before now and they're already processing their visas, or those ones that have left before we are even talking about this topic in the previous time, or people who are already planning or receiving invitation from their family members that, guy, you just have to go and plan and see how you can leave this country. But it's quite interesting that for me, it's as a result of the peculiarity of the challenges that we're having, not just in Nigeria, but the sub-Saharan African, and not just in sub-Saharan African, but globally. You know, we are talking about Nigerians living in Nigeria.
Right.
In Europe, people are also living different parts of Europe for a better place, yes, across the world. So it's a syndrome or a system that is cutting across global world. And the message is that the world, as we speak right now, there is no place where we can actually say it's enjoying the right of economic dividend. Either in the US, either in the UK, either in India or China, all have their own peculiar challenges. There are citizens who believe that it is better to seek alternative elsewhere. They will definitely live just like our own. We are living as expected.
You know, just like you rightly pointed out that the issues, the perceived issues as to why some of these youth are, you know, leaving the country are not just typical to Nigeria alone. I mean, these issues are also being experienced in other climes. But why is our case really this? I mean, why is it different? You
know, because we are Nigerians, we know how to amplify issues. We know how to ensure that this issue give momentum. And we also know how to make sure that this kind of issues, everybody must be involved. And that's
what do you mean by that? Everybody must be involved.
It's like, to be frank with you, I received more than 2 invitations from my younger brother that is in US to come
japa?
Over. Yeah, and I said, for me, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. If I'm to come to US or come to UK, I will come in a way that when I come, they will respect me and they will give me honor. 2-3 days, I'm back. That is why I want to come.
Who are you expecting that honor or respect from? Nigerians?
Nigerians and the host countries. You know, the japas, in as much as some of us are like, okay, we give you all the support you can go. But we also need to tell ourselves the reality. The way some of them are going and the news that we are hearing about so many of them is discouraging. Imagine people living in cemetery, people living in tents. They don't even, the community where they are have to organize food for them. A lot of them that ran to Canada, one of our senior colleagues in the media was sending pictures of Nigerians living in cemetery, that the community where they are, they have to organize food for them because there's no job. And the first information you get for someone who wants to jackpot, don't worry, you get job immediately, you get this, you get that. You think that everything is so easy, so luxury. Even my younger brother I'm talking about, the moment he leave here, everything about our family has been known by the US. The moment he entered US in 2021, when he went to apply for accommodation, he just discovered that they just press 1 or 2 buttons on their system and everything about our family just appeared. And he was like, how did they get know about us? And I told him that you already given all the information back here in Nigeria. So things like that happen. They already know you when you are coming, but it is not everybody they will give that audience to when it now comes to giving you a job. Or you go to a particular state in the US.
Okay, so for Nigerians who are stranded, you know, outside the country at the moment, it's really sad and disturbing. I mean, I saw a video, was it late last year, of some Nigerians who traveled to some state in Canada or region, and I mean, you can imagine that December period, it was really very cold, and they were out there, you know, stranded and homeless. At some point in time, the Diaspora Commission, the NITCOM boss had to come in to like, look, before you leave Nigeria in search, you know, of a greener past, please make sure to plan properly. But is that just the case? Absence of proper planning, and that's perhaps the reason why people get to suffer when they, I mean, get to other countries.
How do they even japa? Somebody collects 6-month visa for tourism. He wants to go there and change 6-month visa into lifetime permanent. How does that happen? Like my younger brother, they gave him 2 years visa, and that 2-year visa is expected to renew it. But within that 2 years he has the opportunity to get a job because they've already gotten his data. Now, if he's going to apply for that 2 years, he's going to come back to Nigeria and reapply and go back, and with the hope that Trump will not become president of US.
What do you mean by that?
He already threatened all dissident immigrants that when he comes back to power, definitely there are going to be heavy deportation of a lot of people who we believe are polluting the blood of Americans. So with that in mind, everybody that is doing JAPA now, just make sure that you have at least a 2 years visa that can help you to plan and put your programs in
the elections. so that Nigerians will be sent back home. So let's put our house together. I mean, because for almost every Nigerian out there on the street, I mean, I don't have the figures, but you know, if we just have to assume, it's more like 5 out of every 10 Nigerian youth is desperate, you know, to leave the shores of Nigeria.
Because they are being misinformed about what is happening there. What you are seeing on social media is not the real life of Americans, not the real life of US. That's why I encourage people to watch reality TV and knew how about they lived in US. In US, you can't be walking on the street like that. But when they know that, they ask you for your ID. They ask you for several things. You get it? They have what they call, they have a law enforcement agency in different categories and in different states. And there are some states in US that you cannot go as an immigrant. You can't go there. You only go to the popular states, Chicago, New York, Washington. But when you go to other very fantastic, you can't go there where we have the rednecks, as they normally call them. These white supremacists and the rest of it. You can't go there as a immigrant because they know that you are coming there to distract them. So what I'm trying to say is that we need to inform our young ones about this japa syndrome. Okay. In as much as we have problems back here at home, it can be fixed. Okay,
what are some of these problems? Let's start by highlighting what these problems are.
The problem is unemployment. The problem is widening inequality in the land. The problem is the access to quality education. The problem is access to livelihood that could sustain you, not for the immediate term, but sustain you beyond the age of retirement. Those are the issues that we have. And those are the things they are able to solve for their people. And our people want to go over there and overtake and overrun their system. Because what most of them are doing to go there and overrun. And there is this mindset also that when you get there, those ones that have that knowledge of high-tech, they can become a Yahoo Plus over there, begin to commit all manner of fraud, all manner of criminality. It won't work. If you remember, there was a time that most Nigerians were running to Dubai. Now, how many people do you think is going to Dubai now? Because the Dubai system have now ensured that they kept out any form of criminality. So, what we are trying to point out is, let us see how we can encourage our people that stay back home. If you have the opportunity to go, go. I don't even tell people not to go. Go if you want to go. I just spoke to a cousin of mine this morning as I was here. He was also talking about, I say, you got go. But the thing is that for those of us that have said we want to remain, we are not just remaining, but we want to have dignity when we want to go there.
Okay, but Adefa, let me ask you this on a personal note. How often do you get questions from youth on the street, be it friends or people you just meet randomly? Oh, I want to leave the country. I'm tired of this country. How often do you hear lamentations like that?
2 people have spoken to me on phone today from Lagos, because I'm from Lagos, that they want to travel. 2 people, my immediate younger brother and a cousin brother. And I said, if you guys have the opportunity to go, go. The one within Abuja, when we are in maybe where we are having our social life, people normally discuss, and the next thing is, I want to go. Even including civil servants who want to collect money either by loan or whatever, they want to leave.
The irony is the fact that some Nigerians will have to sell, their lands.
Exactly.
They sell their properties, their cars, what they had actually struggled and suffered to acquire. They sell everything and they leave the shores of Nigeria. It is better outside Nigeria, only for them to get there. Maybe it is not too rosy as they had actually expected or envisaged, and they come back. And on the flip side, for some people who are lucky, they eventually make it and then they send money home again to those of us who are still in Nigeria. Please let me get a piece of land and help me develop it. So
very well.
What exactly is going on?
The issue is it's all about economic interest.
Yeah.
The ones that goes there, that went with correct paper, because if you go with correct paper, with correct document, the moment you get it, to get job will be easy. Like the case of my younger brother I'm using as an example. He changed job within a space of 3 months.
Wow.
He started out in a restaurant. Before you move, he's an IT person. He's also very good in IT. Move into from grocery shop. Then the next thing he was telling me now is he started going through some classes now. He wants to change job again to quickly enter his IT field properly there, because there are some processes that you need. The certificate you are taking from Nigeria here may not be easily accepted over there, so you have to go through some processes. And he also told me that one of the easiest way to also get job is in the health sector.
Okay.
He went with his wife, because both of them are there. They got family visa and they are there. And his wife is also an IT person, but she's transiting into the health sector. So she's already in school. And she's also doing a part-time job. So why are they so lucky with that kind of process? Because they already had the right information and they plan it well within the American embassy here, and they fill the right data for the American embassy, and they were able to get that.
Let me butt you again, Ade Folarin. I mean, for someone who a savvy, just like your brother, and then he leaves Nigeria to become to work in a restaurant and eventually work in a grocery store, and well, thankfully he's okay now. I presume.
Definitely.
But then these are menial jobs that Nigerian youth wouldn't want to even indulge themselves in here in Nigeria.
Seriously.
So do we attribute this to the free fall of the naira? Because some people would tell you that I'd rather quit my job as a banker in Nigeria, to work elsewhere, outside Nigeria, because they think the value, of the naira, it is nothing compared to, the currency in the particular country they actually want to relocate to.
One good thing about their area is, apart from maybe because of the issue of the naira free fall and the rest of them, there is this ease of life there. I just use my younger brother as an example. The house he moved into, there's stable electricity, there's stable gas, there's stable water, but you pay for all of them. You don't have to struggle that you come back from work, you are struggling with electricity, there is no gas. Then food is cheap over there. But here in Nigeria, food is not cheap. And again, the issue of naira devaluation, naira depreciation, it has several factors. But we know that sometimes it is just majorly the failure of government to address the challenges within the economic sector, and that's why naira is free falling. And I only challenge people economics that when most of us are saying naira is free falling 1,400 naira, the official rate of naira to dollar is 850, between 750 to 850 according to government. The other one we are quoting are the people collecting from government to go and resell at 1,400 naira. I don't know whether I get it. So we must be able to put this into perspective, because we are trying to educate Nigeria, we are trying to inform Nigeria. Dollar actually, in real sense of it, according to government official, is between 750 to 850. But because people who are now round tripping it are now selling it at 1,400 naira. That's why when Manufacturing Association of Nigeria is speaking loudly and naira, their members are some of the problem within this sector. It's just that government doesn't want to act. If government want to act, a lot of manufacturing associations have been collecting free dollar from CBN.
Are they also round tripping?
What are they doing? Today they will collect, tomorrow they say they don't have. So what are they doing? The one that the government are giving to them. So it's just that is not the discussion of today, but sometimes I like bringing this perspective in because it's very, very key. But one thing we must understood in this regard is that in as much as Nigerians want to japa, nobody should stop them. And government saying they want to train people, let government train them.
No, but let's even come to the comment made by the president that Nigerians shouldn't worry too much. That for the skilled workers who already left the country, the federal government, would collaborate with, subnationals to also train people to fill in those, gaps. Is that assuring, or is just a pointer to the fact that I don't even give a hoot about, the skilled workers leaving the country?
The issue is this: how many of those skilled workers are really even employed into the informal sector? They are leaving, fine, but we have been complaining of unemployment, meaning that if there's a gap, that gap should be filling. So the gaps should be filling by people who are not taken up by the sector. So either you are training more people or you're not training more people, as people are exiting that position, new set of people are supposed to take over. So there shouldn't be any problem people occupying that space. Okay. But training more people will mean that we're going to have more hands that will be needing employment. Because training them and leaving them shouldn't be the problem. It shouldn't be the case.
Okay, so if this, japa syndrome persists, what impact do you think it will have on the economy?
Definitely,
in a minute.
It has two impacts. One is that people will be sending remittance back home. That means people will be sending dollar back home. The other aspect is that we'll be having a chunk of our intellectuals, intelligent. You see why people like us doesn't want to leave? We are the backbone of Nigeria. We are the one thinking. We are the think tank. So when the think tank leave,
are you saying this to score some points?
Definitely, because when the think tank leave, that's when we have the real problem. The technician can be replaced, but think tank cannot be replaced. That's what happened to Germany when majority of that think tank left Germany for the US, and that's why US economy become what it is today. So,
well, indeed, there's so much to talk about with a lot to take in. How do we discourage Nigerians from jackpying out of the country? Well, if you have the opportunity, would you want to japa, or you stay back and also, help grow the naira and put Nigeria together? I think once upon a time, Nigeria was a destination for people to even come to, to visit some of these, beautiful sites and locations.
Exactly.
But now insecurity, seems to be changing that narrative. But of course, our fingers are crossed. We must keep hope alive and, just hope for the best. Well, Adefalarin Olamilekon is an economist and lead researcher at Politics&BusinessTV.English. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And that's it for news analysis today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Omo Ife Peace of Semere. I'll be back at the top of the hour with the news update. Good afternoon.